represents. I'm that brother who you, I'm that brother who you, trying to kill my crew, trying to kill my team.
What is up, sports fan entertainment? The NBA season is back, and I am so juiced for it. Let's go ahead and get into it, though. Here's my top 5 positional rankings. We're going to go ahead and start with the point guards, okay? Now, at number 1, I have Steph Curry, okay? And I know in the comment section down below, there's going to say, he blew a 3-1 lead, Steph's a bitch, and all that, okay? And I understand, okay? He choked in those finals. He really did. He choked bad, okay? But it did knock him down a little bit for me. But even though I knocked him down, he's still the best point guard in the league. You have to think about it. I would pick him over any of them, and I think that's obvious. I mean, just the threat of his three-point shot changes teams' entire defensive schemes, and you know, I don't think it's a question in my eyes. I don't think it is. At number 2, okay, the next 2 guys, I really hate both the guys that I have at 2 and 3, but they're amazing, and I honestly think it's a lot closer than people think it is for that number 2 spot. I have Russell Westbrook at number 2. And the reason why I put him at number 2 is just because of his athletic ability, and the stats that he puts up are just ridiculous. Okay, but Chris Paul at number 3 is very, very close. Me personally, if I had to make a team up, I would pick Chris Paul 10 out of 10 times. Okay, I would over Russell Westbrook. But I don't think that, individually, I don't think that Chris Paul is better than Russell Westbrook. But from a basketball IQ and efficiency, I think Chris Paul has that hands down. But Russell Westbrook, he's a physical beast. You know, he's almost like an alien or something for and the way he finishes at the basket is ridiculous. And he put up 51 the other night. But then again, he took 44 shots, and that's the whole, good and bad side of Russell Westbrook. And that's why I say that it's so close. But I do have Russell Westbrook at 2 and Chris Paul at number 3. At number 4, I have Kyrie Irving. Okay, the reason why I have him at 4, a lot of people, some people would say that he shouldn't even be in the top 5, and some people say that he should be number 1. And I'm pretty sure it's because of the finals performance. But I have him at number 4 because of his improvement and his age. This dude is only 23 years old, okay? And in the finals, in the postseason last year, he averaged 26 points when he only averaged 19 in the regular season. It's, when he wants to score, he can score at will, and you got to see that all last year during the postseason. And I think that he's just going to be amazing this year. Me personally, I had him as my MVP pick, but that's a whole nother video for my predictions. And but yeah, other than that, I don't see there's nothing that he really can't do. And he only averages 2 turnovers a game, which is very, very good for a point guard. So he's probably one of the most efficient there in this top 5. And number 5, I have John Wall. And now some people would say that he shouldn't be in the top 5 basically because of his team's success, and that's understandable. But there's no way that I could pick more than 4 guys over John Wall. There's just not. His passing is ridiculous. His slashing to the rim is up there with the best, and he's just so flashy and so creative with the ball. I think you can tell from the eye test that he definitely deserves to be in that 5th spot. For honorable mention, I have Damian Lillard, Kyle Lowry, and Mike Conley. Okay, let's get into the shooting guards. At number 1, I have Klay Thompson. Now, I think the battle between this is between him and James Harden, and the reason why I give it to Klay Thompson is because of his post moves, honestly. His post game is very, very good, and I don't think that people recognize it enough, because as soon as he puts somebody in the post, he has that fadeaway jumper. It's almost like go-to offense when you need it late on the shot clock. And his defense is one of the best in the league. He's one of the best defenders in the league, and he does it on both sides of the ball, which is what James Harden, from all the vines and all the funny videos on Twitter, you can see that James Harden lacks a little bit, even though he does get a lot of steals. But you can see, I think it's pretty obvious the big difference between the defense between Klay Thompson and James Harden. But I have James Harden at 2nd. Offensively is amazing. Assist-wise now is just as good, because putting him at point guard I thought was an awesome decision for the Houston Rockets. Giving him the ball and just making him do whatever he wants, you're going to be able to see how good James Harden really is, and he's definitely going to be up there with the MVP conversation if they get enough wins. And number 3, I have Jimmy Butler. Now, I'm a Bulls fan, but I must say that I think the fight between DeMar DeRozan and Jimmy Butler is very, very close. Then one day I'll pick Jimmy Butler over him. The next day I'll pick DeMar DeRozan. But as of right now, I pick Jimmy Butler because he's just very, very solid. He's only been in the league for 5 years, where DeMar's been in for 7. And he averages almost, I think it's like a point off. He might average a point more than DeMar DeRozan does. So that was the only reason why I would pick DeMar DeRozan, is because offensively, I think that DeMar is a bigger threat, but statistically, I guess you could say that Jimmy is a little bit better, even though his shot's not as good as DeMar's is, or at least his mid-range shot isn't. So I would pick Jimmy Butler over him because defensively, I think Jimmy's obviously the better defender, one of the best two-way defenders in the entire league, or two-way guys in the league. So at number 4, I have DeMar DeRozan. You'll see flashes of DeMar being able to be one of the best in the league. I'm talking about like one of the best shooting guards in the league. Like, I mean, last year during that Game 6 versus the Cavs, I think it was, or it was Game 4, he was just lighting them up. He has these times where he shows flashes, but then he'll go to times where he's just ice cold. So I do have him at 4, though. I think he's a huge threat, and he can work his way up there if he gets his game down. And number 5, I have Dwyane Wade. He could honestly be probably a number 1, number 2 shooting guard in the entire league. He could just be holding it back a little bit. And, you got to give him his respects because he slashes the rim nonstop, so he needs that rest. And I think that you can tell when he goes off during the playoffs. I mean, last year in the playoffs he was going off, but in the regular season he would only average like 18 points. So I put him at number 5 just based on basic ability and, actually getting the work done when it's needed. Honorable mention, I have CJ McCollum, Andrew Wiggins, Devin Booker, and Bradley Beal. Let's go ahead and get into the small forwards, and I think this is the most obvious of the 5 positions. I think, most people would say number 1, LeBron James, best player in the world. Easy about that. I don't like him, but I'll put him at number 1. Number 2, this is probably the only difference that people will actually have. I have Kevin Durant, and the reason why I say that is because his defense is extremely good, and people don't recognize it. And that's the reason why a lot of people would pick Kawhi Leonard over Kevin Durant. But I pick Kevin Durant because his defense is very good, the best offensive player in our generation. Me personally, I would never pick Kawhi Leonard over Kevin Durant, and I love both of them. But I would definitely go with Kevin Durant as number 2. Number 3, Kawhi Leonard. Now, what's scary about Kawhi is his offensive game has improved so much year after year, and it seems to keep on improving, as you can tell by the first 2 games, averaging 30 points or having 35 and then 30. His ability to draw the foul now too, it's very, very good, and you can tell that he's been working with Kobe during the offseason. But I have him at number 3. I think that when Chuck says that he could be the second best player in the world, maybe even be the best at some point in his career, I don't disagree with him. I definitely see, the it factor when it comes to Kawhi Leonard, and I really, really like Kawhi, so I put him at number 3. At number 4, I have Paul George. This one's, I just want to see a little bit more from Paul George based off of, getting deeper into the playoffs, having more hot streak games. That last year at the beginning of the season, he was going off, and that's what I want to see on a consistent basis because it seems like he'll show those flashes. It's kind of like DeMar DeRozan, where he'll show those flashes and then it will just go away for a little bit. But, he's athletic, and I'm definitely looking forward to a LeBron James-Paul George matchup this year in the playoffs. And number 5, I have Carmelo Anthony. Now, I like Carmelo, but he just does not produce at the level that he should to me. His offensive game is obviously up there with the best, but, I don't know. I just feel like he's losing it season after season. And we'll see, this year is going to be a huge year for him in the Knicks. So we'll actually be able to see, how good he really is this season. And for honorable mentions, I have Giannis Antetokounmpo. I know that he plays point guard this year, but I went ahead and put him in this section. Gordon Hayward and Evan Fournier. Yeah, after those 5, I think there's a pretty big drop. And power forward, this is probably the biggest gap between the number 1 and number 2 guy, I would say, which is Anthony Davis at number 1. This dude is amazing. He really is. I think that he's going to be the best player in the league for a good span of time if he stays healthy, because he is just absolutely, I don't know if you guys watched the game last night, Warriors versus the Pelicans, and Anthony Davis was literally getting triple teamed, and he was still hitting shots, and he's hitting fadeaways, and he's driving to the basket, and this dude is ginormous, okay? he's definitely the real deal when it comes to power forwards and just being able to do it all. He really is, and I love Anthony Davis, and I have him at number 1. I think that's pretty obvious. At number 2, though, I have Lamarcus Aldridge, and his pull-up pop game, his fadeaway, his post game is just, it's ridiculous. It's literally wet as soon as it leaves his hand, and it just splashes, and it's so dope when it goes in, because I swear his jump shot is so pretty. And defensively, I think he's actually improving, and on the boards wise too, he's improving, which was in the game versus the Warriors at the beginning of the season, the first game of the season. Like, he was getting offensive boards like crazy, and I don't usually see that from Lamarcus Aldridge, and that's going to be a huge factor with them when it comes postseason. So I have him at number 2. Number 3, I have Blake Griffin. Blake Griffin is, I'm not a big fan of Blake Griffin, and I don't see why people boast about him so much, but he is, like, I mean, you got to give him his credits. Like, he's the real deal, and he's athletic, and he's huge. The only thing that he has got to do is work on his post game. I don't know why Charles Barkley and Shaq make fun of him all the time, and I see why. But, like, he just does not go to the post enough because of how his strength and his size. He should be able to, and that should bump him up a couple categories. But based off of athleticism, offensively, and, you know, his ability to change the game by being such an athletic 4, you know, bumps him up to number 3. Now, I think that some people will actually be surprised about this, but I have Draymond Green at number 4. And the reason why I say that is because I truly believe that he is a product of the system. And that's not a bad thing, but the ability to be a point forward and distribute the ball and be able to just, you know, focus on defending and rebounding is something that is huge for Draymond Green, and it's what makes him look so good. And his ability to hit the 3 is a good thing too, but if you put him on any other team, he really would just be an above average player, and I don't think that he'd get nearly as much recognition as he does now. But, like, I mean, if you take in individual talent and ability and statistics and everything that they do, I cannot put him ahead of those 3 guys that I do. It's just because of the fact that he changes the game based off of their offense, but the 3 guys above him change the game because of their ability. That's how I see it, basically. At number 5, I have the young Kristaps Porzingis. Now, this dude will be the real deal. It's just a matter of time. He needs to develop his offensive game a little bit more. He also needs to thicken up, because he could be probably one of the best rim protectors in the league if he really wanted to. He just needs to thicken up. He also needs more time. Like, he needs more time to develop the post game, because I think it could be unstoppable, basically, because he already has flashes of where it's unstoppable. So if he keeps on working on it, and he will obviously be one of the best power forwards in the league one day. It's just he's very, very young now, and he has a lot of time ahead of him to basically to improve on everything that I just said. Honorable mentions, these guys are really young, and I think they're going to be the real deal. One is Myles Turner. He's obviously had a very, very good start to the season so far, but I will have to say that I need to see more from him. And I don't mean like more as in he needs to do more. I'm saying more as in I need to see more of a sample size. Because he only averaged 10 points last year. He got hyped up a lot, and he deserves it because of his defense and his offensive ability. But I need to see more games and more what I'm saying, because at least for Porzingis, he averaged more, and he did that throughout the entire season. Whereas Myles Turner came on a little bit late. He got bumped into that starter position to where he actually had the time and all that to back him up. Where I'm talking about Porzingis, whereas Myles Turner really didn't. But he's going to be the real deal at some point. It's just right now I would rather I can't put him up there with Porzingis and these other guys. And another one is Jabari Parker. I think this year is going to be a breakout year for him. I think he's going to win. He has a very good chance of winning Most Improved Player of the Year. Last year he only averaged 14 points, and this year he's going to I think he should be the first option when it comes to their offense, because they really don't have much. So I would definitely pick Jabari Parker, because I think he's probably going to average around 20 this year. And he's super athletic. I did not know how athletic he was, but he really is. So I have Jabari Parker as an honorable mention. I think he's going to work his way up there by the end of the year or next year. At center, I think the number 1 is DeMarcus Cousins, and I think that this one is a little bit obvious, I'd say, and it's just because he can do it all, really. Boards, 3-point shot, slashing to the basket, drawing the foul, and hitting the free throws, most importantly. He can really just do it all, and I think that he's the obvious choice. He's the obvious choice as number 1 in the center group. Number 2, though, I have Karl Anthony Towns. He is legit, okay? Him and Anthony Davis will be fighting for that spot in the next 5 to 6 years on who's the best player in the league. Because Karl Anthony Towns, he can do it all, too. He's almost just a more athletic DeMarcus Cousins, in a sense. They have different games, but, you can see how, the same size, like they're almost the same size, but with Karl being slender and being able to run better than DeMarcus Cousins. But other than that, offensively, I think that they're very much alike, and I think that Karl Anthony Towns will actually be one of the people that you have to debate for with Defensive Player of the Year. And with Tom Thibodeau coming in, defensively, he's already good, and now he's going to be even better with Tibbs in there. So he will definitely be an all-around kind of center. At number 3, I have DeAndre Jordan. It's basically just because of his rebounding and defensive presence. I'm not a big fan of DeAndre Jordan, but some people put him in that 1 and 2 conversation, but I wouldn't put him in there at all. I think he can really just get, he can protect the rim and get boards, but I would like to see more out of a center than that, and that's the reason why I have a surprising Joel Embiid at number 4. Okay, I didn't say this earlier, or I did. I was talking about Anthony Davis and Karl Anthony Towns, but I think that Joel Embiid can work his way into that conversation as well. And the reason, this dude is offensively amazing. Like, he could probably not be stopped by anybody. I saw this dude fooling around with Steven Adams the other day, the entire game. It seems like whenever he got the ball, he scored. He's unguardable. This dude is huge. He is huge. He is 7'2". He made Steven Adams almost look small. He's 7'2". He's super long. He's getting thicker too, and he can shoot the 3. And he can drive to the basket. I don't get what else you could want out of a center than that. I think he's amazing, and I'm very excited to watch him in the upcoming years. At number 5, I have Hassan Whiteside. He's similar to the Paul George and DeMar DeRozan thing that I kind of said. You can tell that it's there. It's just flashes. And as soon as he gets that consistency at that high level, it's game over. Because Hassan Whiteside, he has those moments too where you're just like, this dude cannot be stopped. And I really like Hassan Whiteside, but that consistency has to be there. Honorable mention, I have Rudy Gobert, Nikola Vucevic, Andre Drummond, and Brook Lopez. Other than that is my top 5 positional rankings. On my channel, I have previews of each and every team. I'm having the postseason predictions with the seeding and all that, but I'll be following the NBA all year because this is what I do. I love the NBA. Other than that, thank you, MJ, for allowing me to be on your channel, and thank you to all the watchers for watching it. Other than that, have a good day, everybody.